Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Yo ho ho, Merry GRIXMAS. This is an annual tradition from Patreon subscriber Heinz, who asked me to play Grixis on Christmas, and here we are. This video will release on December 25th, and anytime I'm asked to play Grixis in Legacy, the first thing I do is look at JamesKisau's recent tournament results. And here's this sick list from James. What I love about this deck is, on the surface, it looks like it's a control deck. And then you think, wait a minute, is this a tempo deck? And then you realize it's actually a burn deck. 4 copies of Lightning Bolt, Snapcaster Mage to send more Lightning Bolts, 4 Orcish Bowmaster. Of all the cards we could play 4 of, that's the one we choose 4 of alongside Lightning Bolt. That goes to the face. Kaito Bane of Nightmares is nothing if not a fancy burn spell. And it's a burn spell. It's a lava spike that might also pick up Snapcaster Mage or Bowmaster for more burn. And James has 2 copies in this recent trophy list of Redirect Lightning from Avatar. 1 red instant lesson. As an additional cost to cast this, pay 5 life or 2 mana. Change the target of a spell or ability with a single target. This hits Lightning Bolts. It hits Thoughtseizes. It hits Force of Wills. It hits Orcish Bowmaster triggers. Just have Bowmaster kill itself when it arrives. It's just pretty sweet. Almost everything that happens in a game is a spell or ability. Therefore, we're going to find spots to play with this. I don't know if this is a true belief from James or just wanting to try a new card, but either way, I'm excited to do it. Kolaghan's Command, 2 of those. Burn spell, by the way. The things that are slower and grindier, like Tamiyo, there's only 1 of these in the deck. Baleful Strix, only 2. Our 3-drops in the deck are Narset and Barrogoyf. I'm kind of memeing here, but also kind of not. This deck, though it looks like a control deck, it is playing with an eye towards dealing 20 damage to your opponent. I'm going to have to be careful and avoid my nature of settling into 1-for-1, slowly answering all my opponent's stuff. And I have to think about what my path to dealing 20 damage is over the course of the game. Obviously, being Grixis control and having all these cool tools, your mode will change. The classic Who's the Beatdown is an extremely fluid question when you play this deck. But I think the beatdown roll is going to come my way sooner than I'm going to feel like I should. And I'm going to try to keep that in mind as I play this deck. I'm excited to do this. I always love Grixis. And happy holidays, everyone. Merry Christmas if you celebrate. Have a good day if you don't. Let's go play some Magic. I'm on the play in round 1. And already the fun of Lorien Revealed doing its job. I've got a Badlands and a Lorien Revealed to play this game on. I'll keep. I hope this is a matchup where creature removal matters, because I have quite a bit of it. Opponent has mauled to 6. And we're off. I obviously don't want to see Wasteland here. Oh, I don't want to see Agadim the Undercrypt either. Alright, we're going to get format knowledge checked here. Oh, okay. If they spend time thought-seizing me, that could buy me a window. Alright, what am I looking for? Cling to Dust is my interaction in this matchup. Redirect Lightning, I could make them mill me. I already have red-black. Do I want blue-red or blue-black here? I think my good interaction is black. I'll get Underground Sea. Okay, if they have the Thoughtseize and the Send, they got me. Otherwise, we're going to have 1 draw step to rule them all and see what happens there. I'm not going to lie, if I top deck Redirect Lightning and mill myself with a Balustrade Spy trigger, I don't even know what I'm going to do. I'll run downstairs and pick up my Christmas tree and run out into the street, hoisting it above my head, chanting USA, USA. Holy shit! Holy shit, my Christmas tree is in danger. Duress! Oh, that's a spell or ability. But it's an opponent. Fudge! They played around it so well. Yeah, this is target opponent reveals their hand, and I'm the only legal target. Alright, my Christmas tree is safe, I guess. Bummer. Maybe this is not Oops All Spells then, because they would not have... They don't generally have Duress. This is probably like Black Saga Storm, or some different low land count Send It deck. Yeah, and they also cared about Brazen Borrower last turn, but every card in my hand was bad against the Storm deck last turn. That might have just been clipping blue spells. Took my Redirect Lightning. Asshole. I wish they led on duress and let me Thoughtseize them with their own Thoughtseize this turn. That would have been the way to go. Well, look at this. They're at 14 life already, and I have 2 bolts in my hand. This is kind of, what we're doing. There's Narset. I don't know if that helps, but I'm going to cast it. Yeah, now they can't draw cards, and if they did, it would hurt them. Narset Dig. The 3rd bolt I can't cast. I think it's Ponder. The Golagon's Command's a little tempting, but I think having more red and just burning them out is probably the way to go, though they're operating on perfect info here. If they have some way to win, they've got it. But if they don't, I've got it. Ooh, a pass. Oh, another one. Okay, Narset activate. Force of Will, now we're backed up. Okay, time to burn my opponent out. I am going to play this Bowmaster before combat damage. They know I'm sitting on 2 bolts, force blue card. The only thing they don't know is this Orcish Bowmaster, and I'm about to tell them. And just like that, burn deck activated. Opponent is, they now know, dead this turn cycle, because I have bolt attack for 4. And they have to do this through a Force of Will without drawing any cards. Dark Ritual. Weeball. They've been struggling for mana. This might have been bait. It might have been the gateway to do everything they want to do, but I think this is where I want to fight. All right, well, they must have it then, if they're willing to Pact of Negation. Have they been Oops All spells the whole time? That would be so weird. Oh my god. I guess so. Well, there you go then. All right. They're on the Narcomoebas build. Yeah, they were just taking their time mapping out everything that I was doing. 4 Narcomoebas and Balustrade Spy. That is more than my 1 Lightning Bolt can keep them off of. All right, yeah, I guess they just have a Miser's Duress in their build. Or there's 2 of them there, 3 of them. Oh, there's a lot of discard. Okay. All right. Discard heavy build of Oops. What a savage, stripping my Redirect Lightning with exactly Duress they couldn't send it back. I'm crying on the inside and the outside. Surgical Extraction, Consign to Memory, Thoughtseize. Blasts aren't great. They're also not zeros. I'll have to see what zeros are actually in the deck. Yeah, these 5 for sure, and then options on these 2. Lightning Bolt is a win condition, but it's not very important, and it's not blue. Barrogoyf could cover a Juke by itself. We saw Orcish Bowmaster not being that important. We saw Redirect Lightning almost being the hero of a lifetime. Children's Edict, certainly worse than Lightning Bolt. I like every blue card, just by nature of being blue. Do I want Reanimate in my deck? Do I want to fight over a Balustrade Spy and then mill them on my turn? Probably not. That's usually so risky. Okay, so I can put one of these Lightning Bolts back in, or I could add 1 Pyroblast. Pyroblast hits Pact of Negation Narcomoeba, potentially Thassa's Oracle, but it would be a weird situation for them to care about that. They don't do any searching of their deck. Oppo Agent doesn't matter. I think I'm going to leave in the 1 Lightning Bolt. Gotta win somehow. Alright, let's go. Format knowledge gained in the sideboard. Okay, keep. I know what I'm up against. I have Force Blue Card Surgical and Consign to Memory. I do need to apply pressure somehow, or else they'll do what they did last game and just sculpt for like 6 turns and then win with exactly being dead on the stack. I actually have the option here of lading up Consign, Surgical, and Force Blue card if I don't cast this Ponder. I think surviving turn 1 is a big enough ask. They kept 7. Though if they just like duress my Ponder, that's not great. Yep. Fair enough. I think I'm supposed to assume that they're gonna spend some time checking me. Took the Surgical. It's my turn. Nimble Obstructionist. It's one of the good guys. Just looking for any island here. Drew a Swamp instead. Oh, that's kind of bad, actually. I actually just don't want these cards. Shuffle and Mist. Now they know they just have to beat Force of Will, which should actually be really easy for them to do. Obliterated by the basic land, or obliterated by not pondering on turn 1. That's probably actually true. All right, well, they know what's going on either way here, so I'll let the Thoughtseize resolve. Took the Force. They do have more mana. I expect to lose here. Oh, okay. Came in tapped. Good news. All right, we're looking for lands. Do I brainstorm to try to find it? I think I do. It's just so good if I hit and so bad if I don't. Oh, God. All right, well, we caught the cruel hand of variance on this one a little bit. I think it's safe to say Just like one land, and we at least have consigned to memory up. My opponent has to respect that I have 6 spells in my hand, though. Whatever that means. I missed my land drop after brainstorming, which means I have the best 6 of 8 possible spells in my hand right now. And I just have to hope that they fart around trying to navigate my potential other stuff, but they're not going to do that. All right, Belcher resolves, and then I lose. Might even lose right now. Okay, just a handful of spirit guides. Okay, so I may or may not have won if I had just left up consign, but missing on a land looking at, was that 10 cards? Is just kind of unlucky. But okay, format knowledge did not hold up today. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the draw in round 2 versus Rob Job, who is, unless there's more than one Rob Job out there, because this is Rob Job 4, so maybe there's up to 4 of them. This is a long-standing member of the BoshNRoll Patreon, who in the past has enjoyed decks like Painter and Stoneblade, but just a few days ago sent me a "This Town Ain't Big Enough" heavy version of Beans. There was the version that top-aided Eternal Week in Italy that had one This Town, but Rob sent me one with like 3 or 4, just really going in on it. And we might get a dope-ass control mirror here. If he plays Agadine the Undercrypt, I'm going to lose my mind. Oh god, Chromox. We've been betrayed. Alright, what are you actually doing, though? Chromox pitching Brainstorm. Alright, so this can't be too heinous. If Brainstorm's in the deck, we at least have some version of Honesty. Burning Wish. Oh, are we just epic storming? Are we going to see a Lion's Eye Diamond Echo of Eons here? Oh, just Thoughtseize. Okay, well, this hand's going to hold up well then. Unfortunately, I need Volcanic Island to finish out my colors, so I'm just going to Thoughtseize here and just take that Beseech the Mirror. All right, his hand is just Thoughtseize. I was trying to think if there's any clever way to maximize my colors or turn 2 potential by fetching instead of just playing Swamp Thoughtseize, and the answer was no. I'm not sure about that Thoughtseize. Like, that's your protection in a Hellbent hand, and with 4 mana, that's exactly enough to, like, blind surveil away an Echo of Eons, untap Thoughtseize me an Echo. Like, it was there if you wanted it. Okay, this is actually a draw 2, which is almost as good, except I already said I need Volcanic Island to play this game, so I'll just get that now and cast Ponder. Force of Will, Nimble Obstructionist. I like all this stuff. I'm going to go Obstructionist, Force, Swamp, no Shuffle, because I can draw the Force whenever I want with these Clings, and that plays around Duress effects. Am I going to Nimble Obstructionist to Storm Trigger? Might be more likely than you think. Lion's Eye Diamond, Doki Doki. Playing around Thoughtseize. I'll exile Beseech the Mirror, just have fewer of those to have to wheel into. Alright, this is kind of sweet, because I can just play Nimble Obstructionist, flip it into Kaito, and then my opponent has to play the rest of the game knowing there's a Nimble Obstructionist in my hand. Undercity Sewer, can you hit the blind surveil for Echo of Eons? Oh, what a legend! Unfortunately for you, I'm ready. That second Cling to Dust. Nobody plays around it. And that was double nasty. He actually hit the 3-outer out of a 51 card deck, but I had the second copy of Cling to Dust. Did he see both Clings on that Thoughtseize? Were they both there? No, I drew the second one after the Thoughtseize, which is why he went for it. Like, that was almost perfect. Oh, Commercial District, please hit it again. Make this game exciting. Kept a card on top. I think I might just Velocity Brainstorm here. I feel like I'm just going to spend all of my mana for the rest of the game And when am I ever going to hold this up? Yikes, don't love any of this. I'm going to put back Brainstorm and Bolt. We got the Two Klings main in the chat, and I said, yep, take it up with JamesKisau. All right. Risk paid off. I really wanted another mana to play this game with, and I think it was worth, even if I have to shuffle, miss my land drop, and just hold up Force of Will for a turn, I think that's better than having to draw through all that creature removal. Though I may have just tilted my hand a little bit by saying, talk to JamesKisau if you don't like the deck, because now he knows about Nimble Obstructionist, the James K special. But I'm going to show it to him anyway to turn on this Kaito. I guess Underground Sea is the only fetchable that does what I want here. Caw. And I'm going to attack and ninjutsu, leaving up a red. Doesn't have any cards in his hand. I'm not going to be thought seizing this turn. Lightning! Okay, I don't actually think I want Bowmaster. I will take this Redirect Lightning, though. Thoughtseize me, Thoughtseize you. My opponent's at 13. Defense grid, icky. My deck does contain... You know what? I'm holding Nimble Obstructionist. Good luck with that shit. Oh, I was supposed to bolt in response. I missed 3 damage. That's an entire turn on the clock. Yeah, I was just thinking if I cared about that. Determined no, and then realized, actually, yes. All right, what's the clock here? If I start plussing Kaito, does it get faster? I have 3, 6, 9, 12 damage. I can plus Kaito next turn for the same thing. Yeah, I think I'd rather draw cards here. If I find Kolagon's Command, we're cooking. Children's Edict to the graveyard. I don't actually want Force of Will either. I want lands. Lands. Okay, Bolt you, and I am holding up Nimble Obstructionist to not die this turn. I also have Force of Will. I can spend the 3. The opponent is dead to the Bolt in my hand. B-Storm. Yeah, you just counter anything here. Pitching Ponder. Don't want to give him any leverage to do anything. I have the game won. You have no cards in your hand. Make my ninjas bigger. And get the 7 done. Yeah, I definitely fumbled a little bit by not bolting in response to the grid. But we're still in pretty good control there. Okay, the Epic Storm. Generally a deck that's pretty good versus Dirtedly Control. Good thing this particular build leans forward so hard. Consign, Thoughtseize, Oppo, Pyroblast. I think I want 1 Meltdown. 2 feels like too many. We're not playing against an Urza Saga deck, but having 1 is something I can dig to if there's like a Chrome Mox and a Mox Opal in play. That could be pretty brutal. Sheoldred's Edict comes out. Some Lightning Bolts come out. This looks familiar. Our second combo match in a row. This one doesn't require any format knowledge, though. Bowmaster is bad versus Veil of Summer, but good versus Echo of Eons, and kind of puts them in a position where they have to have both. Surgical is not without text in the matchup, but it doesn't really stop Echo from happening. But if I can Thoughtseize something important and then Surgical all copies of it, like a Burning Wish or something, it's worth thinking about. I don't think I really need Barrow-Goyf here. But as always, I have to remember how I'm going to actually deal 20. If I cut 4 bolts and Barrow-Goyf, Strixes and Bowmasters attack for 1 or 2 at a time. Kaito and Murktide are how I really turn the corner, and this is a deck that I want to pressure. I think it just has to be fine to play it like this. I don't think I want a Surgical either. I got a lot of good stuff. Let's do it. Okay, no force, but if I get a mana, I can interact in a variety of ways. I'll keep. The Epic Storm has been a grindier deck for many years now. Oh, 61 cards after sideboard. Opponent couldn't figure it out. But the Epic Storm's been a grindy deck for at least like 5 years now, maybe more. Back in the day, it was nicknamed Black Belcher because it was just turbo focused on doing something powerful on turn 1. But it's been a long time since that was the deck. So I'm not going to like mulligan to Force of Will versus the Epic Storm. I'm going to keep 7 and make them guess if I have it or not. A Burning Wish burned. Yeah, turn 1 defense grid's pretty nice. Better find one of my Thoughtseizes. And I did not. So pass the turn. Whatever happens, happens. Although I am much more likely to lose now that defense grid's in play, it is kind of liberating to just be like, yeah, whatever. F6, go nuts. I'll tap out for Baleful Strix. Who gives a shit? I can't do anything else. Ooh, a Brainstorm and No play. That might mean the hand is bad. It might mean the hand just wins next turn. My own Brainstorm. I actually will take that. That's just more looks at Thoughtseize, which is what I'm trying to do here. I don't actually need Murktide Region in my hand. B-Storm. Kolaghan's Command is good. Meltdown's good. Cling to Dust is not that good. A Murktide, take a break, and land number 4, take a break. I think those are reasonable things to be rid of. And I'm just going to Cling to Dust a Brainstorm and draw a card. Just looking for Kolaghan's Commands, Meltdowns, that sort of thing. I am about to untap with 3 mana as well, which now threatens Force of Will, which I don't have, but he doesn't know that. Uh-oh, looks like it's go time. In what way am I deceased? Show me. Oh yeah, the Song of Creation down and dirty. If he whiffs on this, I have the Pyroblast, so we're just riding the lightning now. I am fully F6'd, go nuts. LED draw 2, pass the turn. Wow, okay. Couldn't quite convert, and now you're going to have nothing going on, and I drew the other Cling. Massively disrespectful. Sorry. Get rid of that. Probably should have Brainstormed first, in case I found something better. Alright, I like basically all these cards at this point. Baleful Strix, your usefulness has come and gone. I have other ways to trigger Kaito. Do I need 2 consigns? I kind of just want lands. I'm going to get Underground Sea, Cling something to Dust, and try to hit my next land drop. It's either Beseech or Burning Wish. So if my opponent draws Beseech, then it's in the graveyard anyway when you Beseech with it. I think I'd rather have fewer Burning Wishes in the deck. Okay, pass the turn. Hope I don't die. Echo of Eons is an insane draw. Brainstorm, moving cards around. Burning Wish or Echo both result in Echo here. Alright, just a land. I think you're supposed to main phase Surveil there, because the thing you're trying to hit works just fine on my turn. I'm actually going to pass the turn and try to snag this Catacombs in the end step. It's still my turn for Defense Grid right now. And if you're getting a tap land, you're incentivized to do this here. We got a rude in the chat. Oh yeah, I mean, you could say it's rude, but also I'm just saying, Rob, you could have played around it. In fact, it was probably correct to do it main phase, even if you didn't know that I had Oppo in my deck. Okay, 2 Burning Wishes, 4 Gambles, 3 Echoes. Alright, well, Gamble's a brick. Beseech's a brick. Good draws at this point are Echo straight up, Burning Wish. That's almost it. I'm going to take Undercity Sewers because that is useful to my deck. Please just forget about Oppo and jam a Gamble onto this deck. That would make me so happy. Something's happening. It's red. Oh, did you find one of the 2 Burning Wishes? This does get Echo going. Oh, or something else. What are we doing for black, black, black? And you can't Beseech with Oppo in play. Oh, forgot about Oppo. I just said our tutor comrade in the chat. Yeah, that card is still in play, I regret to tell you. I'll take a Veil of Summer, just in case you someday get a Tendrils going. We got an oh yeah in the chat. Yeah. Opposition Agent, I mean, in 1v1 Magic, it's a little tougher to swallow, but I've certainly played CEDH games where Oppo Agent snipes a fetch land on turn 2, then on like turn 7, someone excitedly top decks Demonic Tutor and just rams into it. Basically the same thing. This isn't Stifle, it stays in play. He said this is the struggle of playing while holding a baby. Yes, congrats on your new baby, Rob. And tough beats on this Opposition Agent. On to the next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I am on the play in round 3 versus a Pro Tour and Mox competitor, a skilled Magic the Gathering opponent. My hand sucks against Wasteland, but is really good against combo. I know this player has played Doomsday in the past to some success, but I also know that various Delver and Isotempo shells are currently popular. I'm gonna keep like they're not a Wasteland deck. Oh, Jesus Christ. They're just the worst possible Wasteland deck. But there's no Wasteland in the hand at current. Which of these do I care the most about? It's probably Obligator. And there's a Chalice of the Void there, but this list is pretty good at shrugging that off. Or I said Obligator, but I meant Linebreaker. Yeah, I'm going to take the Linebreaker. We might just see Grizzly Bear hit the board here. Eldrazi Temple, Wastegate Battle Mage. Nope, taking it slow. Fair enough. And me without a land. Bad news. Bad news. All right. Just don't draw a Wasteland, and this is actually fine. What if this was a green land, or a red land instead of Underground Sea, and I could redirect this Wasteland to my opponent's thing? That would be nice. Brainstorm right after it matters. This game is looking bad. Cavern. And we've drawn Glaring Fleshraker. Okay, so I know 4 of the cards in hand. I can't really concede here. Can I? Yeah, alright. Alright, whatever. Alright, now we know. We're playing against Eldrazi. Consigned to Memory comes in from the Catacombs. Seems actually pretty sweet. Price of Progress for sure. Fatal Push, yes. Meltdown's a maybe. They have the Chalice. Man, redirecting a Wasteland. If I just had bad lands instead of Underground Sea, I think that game ends the other direction on the spot. That's pretty sick, actually. I didn't mention Wasteland in my list of things that's good against. Okay, Narset doesn't matter here. Lightning Bolt hits some of the stuff, but not everything. Cling to Dust can gain life in a pinch, but my opponent doesn't really use their graveyard. Barragoyf is the hero we need. Nimble Obstructionist can counter a Clutch Eldrazi trigger, but leaving up 3 mana seems basically impossible. Bowmaster isn't that good. It does enable a lot of the other stuff my deck does. Thoughtseize is okay if it's on turn 1 or 2, and then it's pretty bad after that. Redirect Lightning. I'm just quickly Googling Thought-Knot Seer, whether it targets a player or an opponent. Like, can you target yourself with that? Target opponent reveals their hand. Okay. Sad. The Redirect Lightning is for mostly Wasteland. I don't think that's a bad thing to be for. Redirect Lightning gets Chaliced, though. I think I can cut one of those. Yeah, I guess this is my plan. Didn't have room for the Meltdown. I have Brazen Borrower, 2 Goligon's commands, and a bunch of things that don't cost 1 to play through a Chalice, and the 4 forces to keep it off the board. Yeah, I guess that's okay. Alright. Not the worst. I will keep. This gets Tameo in before the Chalice buzzer hits. If you want to waste me while behind a Tameo, I accept. Ancient Tomb, Lotus Petal, Chalice of the Void. I probably am supposed to force this because I have Fatal Push in my hand. Though it does cost me Kaito, who's one of my most important weapons. Yeah, don't love that, but okay. Gotta do what you gotta do. Oh, the big Barrow Goof. I really don't want that to get seen by Thought-Knots. That's the most important card in my whole deck. Wasteland. Glaring Fleshraker. Yeah, it resolves. Can't stop it from resolving. It can stop it from continuing to develop. Fetch. Undercity Sewers. I'm just trying to hit my next land and get Barragoyf going. Shit, that card's really important, but it's less important than a land, especially seeing the Wasteland right there. Alright, you get a spawn. You play another 3-drop here. Grim Monolith. Oh, we're not done yet. Hell yeah, show me that Thought-Knot Seer as your 4th spell of the turn on turn 2. Losing my Barragoyf, the most important card in my whole deck. Yep, there's the land. It was even there. It was even there, team. Tameo get in. I think I should actually crack a clue now, leaving up blue-black as options. Like, if I hit Ponder there or Fatal Push, those are all useful plays. Secluded Courtyard. Is the last card in your hand still good after all that other shit happened? Blue-black. I think I'm supposed to float blue there and bluff Consigned to Memory instead of Fatal Push, because if I had Fatal Push, I would have used it on my turn when it was active and I wasn't about to take 4. Lorian's nice. Tamiyo, get in. I think I do need red, whether I like it or not. And then Bowmaster can buy a bunch of time versus Thought-Knot. We're in the dumbass part of the game versus all the Ancient Tomb decks where it's like at some point they're just in top deck mode and it's whatever. Okay, Bowmaster is phenomenal versus Eldrazi Obligator. Now instead of dealing 1 random point of damage to my opponent's face while I chump block, I get to kill an actual 3/1. And then chump block. Well, this is going well, as long as they don't draw any good cards. Yo, alright, well, Tamiyo can flip now. Attack with Tamiyo. I'm leaving Bowmaster back to block. My opponent's not a deck that really draws cards. And keeping Tamiyo alive seems pretty important. Found my land drop. There's some burn and stuff under it. Alright, pass. Okay, had enough. Now I gotta get one on the draw. I think on the draw, Thoughtseize comes out and Meltdown comes in. It's just a one of either way. And I mentioned Thoughtseize is only good in the first 2 turns, and on the draw, it's only really good on the first turn. And Meltdown is good against the thing that Thoughtseize is worst against, which is Chalice of the Void. This makes sense to me. Do I want another Bowmaster in? The double chump block and killing Obligator all felt good. The Catacombs feels super sweet, but also maybe completely unnecessary. Alright, yeah, maybe a 5-drop sorcery isn't what I want on the draw versus one of the fastest decks in the format. Okay, we're back in. Alright, Barrow-Goyf and 3 basic lands to cast it. Hook it to my veins. The Barrow-Goyf's been really good at showing up in my hand, though I kind of prefer to top deck it in a spot where I already have the mana because of Thought-Knot Seer. Courtyard. Pass. I'm just going to get my basics set up. Bolt kills most of the creatures in the deck, but not Thought-Knot Seer, but my opponent would need to double ramp to get to Thought-Knot Seer from here. I am playing around Wasteland. Now I can Sheoldred's Edict or Bowmaster as necessary. The 3rd mana. Linebreaker's great. That dies cleanly to Lightning Bolt. There's some conversation to be had about using my mana most efficiently and using Sheoldred's Edict while I've got it, but I don't think that's actually essential here. Like, Sheoldred's Edict can get things later that this one can't get now, and I'm just going to shove Barrow-Goyf. They need to come up with a double mana land to Kozilek's Command this, which is the card I'm worried about. Like, Dismember, fine, you got me. I'll try to reanimate it later. Thought-Knot Seer, we're in underneath it. Fleshraker, or I might just get comboed out and die. They draw for turn. Kolaghan's Command, nice here. Hard to say no to that, though I do also have Sheoldred's Edict. Cozy Command kills Fleshraker and makes them discard. That sounds so good. You discard, kill you. Boop boop bop. Clear the runway for Barrow-Goyf, I hope. Oh, they discarded a Kindred instant. Barrow-Goyf is now in unit, absolute unit. That must mean they have another one, though. Or a better plan to deal with Barrow-Goyf. Okay. Just the full, no creatures on that, but Goyf is 6/7 now. If Dismember was the plan, it's over. They might steal it with an Obligator. Yeah, this reads like the second Kozilek's Command. Okay, Barrow-Goyf going in. Yep, there's that. Target player scries X and draws a card. Alright, well, I will at least get paid a little bit by Bowmaster on the way through. Barrow-Goyf was pretty nice. Went bottom, bottom, bottom on the scry. Tamiyo go in. Sheoldred's Edict, the only spell in my hand. When it has a Wasteland, could take me off Edict if they want to. Big Reality Smasher. That one gets cleanly edicted. I held off for a second because I wanted to see if my opponent was even going to attack. Like whether they think they're in a spot to race or if they need to turtle up. And they did want to attack. Force of Will. My opponent has 3 Caverns on Eldrazi right now. That doesn't seem very good. I'll draw a card with Clue, see if I can get Tamiyo flipping. I cannot. The 4th Cavern. Name something else for fun. They're all on Eldrazi. I guess there's no apes. There's no Simian Spirit Guides in the deck. Nothing cute to do here. Opponent's still got 2 cards in hand and a lot of mana. Okay, tapped all the lands, then untapped them. Are we setting up a command? Command would have been forcible, even through all the caverns, because it's not a creature. Yeah, bummer. Alright. Okay. Tamiyo's gone, make 3 spawns. These 3 spawns do appear to be casting a creature, but it's a creature I can answer cleanly. Alright, opponent's back to Hellbent. but I don't have much going on. If nobody draws a useful card for the rest of the game, I'm going to win, but there's some scary rips in my opponent's deck. And I could have played around specifically Kozilek's Command by not cracking my clue. I passed back. That means they did not draw a spell. I think any spell my opponent would draw here would be on the stack. 5 to 22, but a big creature makes my life much worse. All right, they're going to bounce my Orc army here. Yep, fair enough. And now I no longer have the largest creature in play. Stuffed by Grizzly Bear. I will Surveil. Yo, all right, put that on top of my deck. It literally attacks and blocks, or attacks. I don't expect it to do much blocking. Lotus Petal from hand. Do you want to race? The 2/2 too strong. All right, Brazen Borrower. Thinking, I think I should bounce the Battle Mage and then play the Borrower. This lets Bowmaster attack this turn as well. And Borrower has Flash, so I can just redeploy it if they bounce that instead. And I have Force Pitching Force if the one card in their hand is like Kozilek's Command or something that can interact at instant speed. It will not be an instant speed Eldrazi creature, I'm pretty sure. All right, it is, of course, the third Kozilek's Command because it always is. This will put my opponent to 1, and then they got to figure their life out. Can I get a Lightning Bolt? And I can! All right, I'm not going to slow roll my opponent. I know what card's in their hand. Okay, sweet. The Tempo Burn Grixis out muscling Eldrazi. Crazy. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables. In this YouTube series, hosts Patrick Sullivan and Patrick Chapin go set by set through Magic's past, leveraging their decades of experience as Pro Tour players and game designers to analyze the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a deep dive into the facts, mechanics, cycles, trivia, decks of the time, and historical context of the set. The hosts dig into notable cards of the era and their lasting impact today. Each set gets an award show where the hosts pick their favorite cards for categories such as Best, Worst, and Weirdest. And finally, give a letter grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables. I'm on the play in round 4 versus Grizzlepuff, the third legendary creature in a row that I'm playing against. I'm going to keep this opener with my one of Thoughtseize in it, and I am pretty scared of Wasteland here, but Underground Sea casts Thoughtseize now and Brainstorm next turn, and I'm gonna go for it. I know Bob has been into combo decks lately, but we'll see. Okay, this is certainly not a combo deck. What do I want to do about this? I think the answer is just a squeaky clean Tameo. All right, this is some sort of probably Thalia Blink deck with Stoneforge Mystic. These decks sometimes have a couple of Wastelands in them, like 1 to 3, or they have Back to Basics. They usually don't have both, but I should expect my mana to not be completely safe, but I do play 5 basics of my own, if I can get to that stage of the game. Formalware picking up Tameo is really funny. Okay, here's this Brainstorm. Please don't betray me. Yeah, rock solid. All right, Murktide's a later problem. Kolaghan's Command, Bowmaster, and Lightning Bolt all seem great against this deck. So does Narset. Yeah, maybe I just dump the Ponder. Like, my hand's already good. What am I pondering for? Hey, pass the turn. And I can just, if my opponent doesn't do anything that I need to fetch over, I can just draw the Ponder again. Basic Plains. All right, I'm just going to redraw the Ponder. Ponder. Badlands, Brainstorm, Murktide. What does land number 4 do for me? Land number 4 does seem like the most medium of the things I'm looking at. I'll take a Brainstorm. Never sad to see that one. And I left the land under it. Again, if my opponent doesn't do anything, I'll just hit my land drop. Doggo. Alright, well, this will probably end up eating the Force of Will in their hand, or I will get roasted by Formalware. Those are the 2 options. Okay, I wonder if he just doesn't have another blue card for Force because Felia flickering Riddler while I'm tapped out would end the game against basically all decks. Settling into the grind. Like if you formal wears the Felia here, I'll understand. Wasteland, okay. Confirm that one's in there. Formal wear is back. Felia comes back enormous, and it can flicker the formal wear, which can get back Tamiyo in the future. I think I want to fetch Undercity Sewers right now. I'm already exposed to Wasteland, and I've now confirmed that that's the interaction. This would be a great turn to find Force of Will and win a fight. Queen to Dust, thanks for showing up. A little late. Force of Will, yeah. Destroy target artifact and deal 2 to any target. Kill Formal Wear and Felia. You got to kill the Formal Wear because Felia would be 4/4 without it. Of course, pitching. I really want Narset, but if I get Wastelanded, I might want Brainstorm more. I'll play to the big ones. Okay, cleared that problem. A second Wasteland would be pretty rough, but the Undercity Sewers did actually result that turn in Force of Will, so I'm not going to complain. I'm getting in here with Narset. You can't stop me. Rip. Redirect Lightning and Ponder. I think I want the Ponder. The Redirect Lightning would force the action on Wasteland immediately. You know what? I'm doing it. Spicy tech. Ophelia right now attacking Narset to 1 would be disappointing. If we just see a fetch for Meticulous Archive and no play in the end step, that would be great. But Lightning plays around this face-up Wasteland. It also protects my Bowmaster from removal. Tamiyo's here. Dumped Ophelia. Just not interested in that game plan. Oh, sick. All right, Narset, go to 1. I'll take Kaito. And as much as I'd like to Lightning Bolt this Tamiyo, I don't think I actually can. This Tamiyo's not going to flip with Narset in play. That's just the rules. Attacking me. Okay, Bowmaster come in the end step. Opponent has seen the Kaito, knows that what this means. Can't draw a card in response. 1 to you. I'd love another red mana here. Not today. I'm probably just not going to Kaito, I think is my ultimate answer here. Just leave up the red, make my opponent bleed out to Bowmaster. Never able to Wasteland. Swords to Plowshares. Okay, I will respond with Orcish Bowmaster. Another one. Drawing cards will never be a good deal. That's my promise to you. Okay, this is as good as the deal we'll get. And do I mind getting Wastelanded? I could just bolt Tamiyo now. Or I could redirect the Plow to Tamiyo. I think this is fine. That Wasteland is actually really good, knowing that I have Kaito in hand and Kolaghan's Command. Tamiyo continues her grim work of drawing a card every other turn. Come on, red mana. Boo. Okay, I'm going to attack with my creatures. I might just attack with Orc Army, actually. Felia is so big here. I just don't want to play in that sandbox. Baleful Strix, though. The Tamiyo game is over. Can I hit a red land? All right, Force of Will. Not mad about that either. The texture of this face-up redirect lightning has been so awesome this game. There's this Wasteland sitting here. We both know about this. We're both playing chicken. Who knows what targeting spells are in my opponent's hand. Stoneforge Mystic. I have 1,000 answers to that in my hand. An opponent tapped out of the Wasteland to get here. Meteor Sword. Okay, that can kill my stuff next turn. Tapping out of the Wasteland gives me Lightning Bolt on this Stoneforge. Very cool. Meteor Sword sucks. 7-drop. Have fun with that. And now I can Kolaghan's Command with backup. I don't even care about Felia. I'm just pushing full damage as much as I can get. Tamiyo Chump Block. She's not doing better than that. Completely locked down. I hope I do not have to play this game around the card Supreme Verdict, but I'm not going to respect that till it's shown to me. Force of Will, pitching Brainstorm. Opponent knows I can redirect Lightning. All right, I'll redirect Force of Will to redirect Lightning, functioning as Pyroblast here. Force of Will fizzles because it has no legal target because redirect Lightning has already left the stack. And Force of Will, again. How do we do? Are we done? Do you have a sweeper? I don't know. F6. Sweet game. It's fair magic, bonking back and forth. You love to see it. Fatal Push, Pyroblast. I love Thoughtseize in a matchup like this. From the Catacombs, hell yeah. We are grinding. Cling to Dust, we did see pre-war Formalware. There's at least that going on. Oppo Agent hits Stoneforge Mystic. How much removal do I actually want? I have the Bolts in my deck already. I have Sheoldred's Edict in my deck already. Fatal Push would give me a lot of answers to Felia and Tameo. Am I going no forces? Is this the type of game we're playing? Just every card is going to resolve. Let's party. I think that's reasonable. I mean, obviously Force of Will is really comfortable in the late game. When you're slightly ahead and you find one, now you know you're good. But it's also a 1 for 2 most of the time. Obstructionist has a lot of play versus Stoneforge Mystic. You can counter the search, you can counter the put in, you can counter whatever the put in does. Either the Germ Token of Cauldra or the Destroy of Meteor Sword or the Reanimate of Formalware. But also it's just like a 3-mana effect. I do like Barrowgoyf. I do like Murktide. I do like Brazen Borrower. I like my Bowmasters. I could side grade Fatal Push it out of Sheoldred's Edict. That's not more removal, it's just different removal. And if I'm dealing with Tameo and Felia, I'd rather have Sheoldred's Edict. Or I'd rather have Fatal Push. The exact opposite of the thing I said. Yeah, I don't think I believe in Obstructionist here. Let's go. Party time. A basic island and basic swamp available. Or I can have red for Bolt, Redirect Lightning. Oh wait, that's not a basic island. Bloodstained Mire doesn't do that. This one taps for blue though. Here we go. That's fine. Bowmaster, yeah. I like that guy. Yeah, I don't mind getting wastelanded here. I'm set up to keep hitting land drops and keep playing the game after that. Especially if my opponent just has basic planes to jam on. Wasteland confirmed. Ooh, but not used. Stoneforge Mystic engaged. Formalware slurped out of the deck. That is the smart play. Because that means if I kill Stoneforge, just cast Formalware, get it back. But there's also the shell game of what if that's not the actual payoff in hand? What if I just get Cauldra completed here? I can't actually redirect Wasteland because there's no legal targets. Oh, there. Okay, now there is. Now there is. Let's see if opponent plays around it. Surveil to the top. Yeah, I'm not going to play any cards here. I want to leave up the lightning. Fatal Push, okay. Now we're doing stuff. Felia, all right. Lots of removal available now. I can't let Felia be doing stuff. Okay, pass. I know they can Formalware it back, but I have the Kolaghan's Command. Play again. This is 2 turns in a row that I wish I had pondered. And obviously, if my opponent did something different, then I'd be happier holding up Bowmaster, but last turn and this turn, this Undercity Sewers is just sat here, untapped, while I have Ponder in my hand. And I'd like to hit a land drop. Doesn't feel great. All right. It is my turn. I'd love to draw a land, especially if it taps for red. Brutal. Ponder. Show me them lands. Oh, God. Shuffle all of that away. There we go. Okay. Now I'm in kind of bad shape to a Force of Will. How do I want to manage that? I can just play Baleful Strix. That makes it tough to get through with Felia. Okay. I like that development. Oh, if opponent puts in Formalware, gets back Felia, Felia attacks, exiles Formalware, I block with Strix, Strix dies, Felia dies, Formalware comes back in, returning Felia in the end step. Oh, they can actually cleanly remove a Baleful Strix here. Ooh. Or we can have a fight. Redirect Lightning. If this gets forced, I just took a quadrillion damage. Okay. Force of Will confirmed. Quadrillion damage dealt. All right. Opponent's going nuts now. This was the showdown. We both knew it was possible. I do have Kolaghan's Command that can clear the Felia. Except maybe not. If opponent flickers Stoneforge, it'll be 3/3 at base. Okay, yeah, I actually can't clear Felia, and I'm going to die to Stoneforge Mystic. Bad news, team. I guess what I do there is bolt Stoneforge and then bounce Felia and make them just restart the rebuild. And I have the mana to do all that, even if I get wastelanded. Though opponent hasn't made a land drop in a long time either. Here's the attack with both. All right, the Stoneforge attack was just for style points. It is getting flickered out. This will also shuffle the Brainstorm that just happened. Oh my god. All right, opponent's going to have every piece of equipment in their deck and multiple ways to zoot it in. Meteor Sword. When it enters, destroy target permanent. Oh god, those includes lands. Yikes. Felia is really good when she gets into play. I guess my best draw at this point is like a Thoughtseize or Fatal Push, some 1-mana answer that isn't gated on anything. Okay, what does this do? This, the extra mana lets me... It's tough because if I put 2 damage on Felia, like I could Kolaghan's Command, make them discard and deal 2 to Felia. That doesn't actually solve any problems. And if they have Force Blue card as their last unknown cards, I get cooked. All right, I'm just going to put Felia back in the hand and try to navigate these Stoneforge Mystices with Kolaghan's Command. Because Kolaghan's Command can also blow up Batterskull. I don't like this pause on my spell, like opponent does have Force Blue card. But there's 4 cards in hand, and 2 of them are these equipments. Felia is back in the grip. I don't think it does me any good to bolt one of the Stoneforges now. And if opponent draws land, then both are active. That would matter. Okay, all right. Well, now I get to play against Meteor Sword and Batterskull. There's nothing that could have been done to avoid this. All right, bolt one of these in the end step. We got to start drawing out cards. All right, it just died. I like that. Bowmaster. I'm spending mana. I'm trying to do stuff. If I could get a Meteor Sword to kill my Bowmaster, there have been worse outcomes in life. All right, I've got something on the board now. None of these equipments give trample. We've got Vig, +3/+3, Vig lifelink. Pyroblast is potentially the heater I was looking for. Now, if opponent's hand is Force Blue card, this Kolaghan's Command is still going to push. All right, Felia is here. How do I navigate this? I think I just eat shit on it and hope that my opponent activates Stoneforge. Okay, Stoneforge was activated. I hope this is Batterskull and not Meteor Sword. All right, best possible outcome. Destroy target artifact, deal 2 to Felia. Man, I love that card. Yes, had the Force of Will 2. That 1 turn of development, that second red source showing up, giving me... That was a 4 for 2. I still got to beat Meteor Sword, but I think I can handle it. I still have this Brazen Borrower up here and Bowmaster in hand, plus the Bowmaster in play. The opponent could build a Voltron monster right now, make Stoneforge a 3/4 Vig, and then make it a 6/7 Vig. Oh no, don't do a good thing. No Teferi. Teferi's kind of mid versus... Okay, so this has Vigilance, which means it can attack me, and then also it can be sword time. Just get it all. All right, well, Orc Army's not doing any extra. Okay, I'm looking for a Fatal Push. Just some way to do something to this Stoneforge Mystic. Murktide Region, ugh. Meteor Sword has me in check. I'm going to shuffle. There are so many better cards in my deck. Oh. Just checking. Is Stoneforge Mystic a permanent? Okay, pass. Oh no, what's going to happen? Oh no. My Orcish Bowmaster. Oh no. Cast with additional pay 5 life. Boom! I choose Stoneforge Mystic. Oh yeah, gamers. All right. I love Redirect Lightning. Big fan. Big fan. I'm at 5. And they have a lot of equipment. Any creature could become a problem for me. All right, I'm going to float blue. I'll get the Brazen Borrower involved. View pass priority, I'll just cast this thing. I don't mind tapping out for a good cause. Oh, Murktide just showing right back up. Attack. I could beat Felia here with the second Bowmaster, so the attack is squeaky clean. Okay, leaving a smattering of cool spells in my graveyard for... Okay. I just blinked on... I was busy narrating and didn't double snipe this Brainstorm. Leaving a smattering of cool spells in my graveyard for Snapcaster Mage. Opponent could be at 7, and I have a 6/6 here, but, you know, whatever. It's the same thing, right? What's the difference? Okay. Velia's in. Murktide's in. Velia can pick up one of these equipment, but not both. They both cost 3 to equip. Oh, flickering the meteor sword's pretty effing good, but it does kill Velia to do that because you have to get her involved in combat, where I have multiple ways to defeat her. Okay, a little sloppy on that last turn, but what awesome magic. Different flavors of removal and counters and stuff, supporting 2 and 3 cost threats in the middle of a mid-range blue battle. Ah, that's magic. Would you believe me if I told you 15 years ago all games of Legacy were like this? What a time. On to the next round. We're a few rounds into the video. If you're still here and having fun, remember to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, use code BOSH for 5% off your order at toamagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the play in the final round. Positive record locked playing for the bread and butter 4-1. Double force, double blue card, and a Baleful Strix. I hope this opponent is on Oops All Spells. How about that? The Redemption Arc. Lush Portico. Okay. Gonna be a Wasteland deck no matter what. This is not really in decks that don't play that card. I don't know what flavor of this they are yet. But lands, depths. Oh, okay. All right. We are a Beanstalk deck, a 5-color Beanstalk deck, dumping their Xander's Lounge. All right. They're going to be less of a Wasteland deck in that world. I'm not interested in Ponder. My hand's already full of gas. I would like to hit my land drops and keep the game moving forward, which Ponder obviously does, but I was already holding a more exciting cantrip. Strix finds me. Opponent says hi, good. Hi, YouTube. Everyone say hi to Pizza Time 19. That's one of my favorite times. Anytime. Okay, the Redirect Lightning is here. The surprise MVP of the league. Basic Island, Lush Portico. Up the Beanstalk. Hell nah, if I can help it. I will delete all my cards to fight over this, by the way. If they force back, I'm going to force back too. This is kind of the whole point of their deck. It will be worth the 2 cards I spend countering it, for sure. Really wish I could have redirected Lightning on that first Force of Will. Get on a 1-for-1 basis. Cling to Dust. Alright, I'm going to cling the Beanstalk. No, they probably can't get Beanstalk back, and that's an enchantment in the graveyard. I'm going to cling their Force of Will. I'm just trying to hit a land drop here, and I did. Great. Alright, I have Redirect Lightning. I really hope they Wasteland me this turn. That would be great. Misty Rainforest, not Wasteland, famously. Just a completely different card. Can you believe it? Okay, here I can play Barrowgoyf with Lightning Protection. I gotta check my dual land spread, see if I need to fetch or do something different. I've got a Volk 2 Badlands. Do I want to fetch the second Badlands? I really don't. All right, I'm gonna fetch. Do I think I need basics? There was a Bant Beanstalk deck that recently popped up in the 5.0s that had back to basics in it, which seems deranged, honestly, but it would be good against me here. All right, I will get basic Swamp just in case. And play Goyf, leaving up Redirect Lightning. This can beat a Force of Will or a Swords to Plowshares. Not both. And the Plow, I do have to move on to my own creature. It's not the full cooking. I would have to put it on Baleful Strix. The opponent dumped a Tundra into the graveyard. Moment of truth. What's going on? Land number 4. It's now my turn. I can afford the extra mana on Redirect Lightning here. I don't have to pay 5 life. I'm not sure if it matters if I play my land before or after. I guess I could have drawn a card with Cling to Dust and then redirected Lightning if I play out my last land. Leyline Binding. Okay. I have to move that over to Baleful Strix. Do I play around Spell Pierce? Do I care? Whatever. Burn me. All right, I will redirect Leyline Binding and hopefully get the life back immediately. That's the only white mana they're showing. Yeah, we're in there, Big Barrow. Big miss on all of the hits. Okay, I have 2 Cling to Dust in the graveyard. I could cling right now. I think I want to. I'll get another Swamp. I think I'm good on red. And Cling to Dust, target your Tundra? Does this matter? Why would this matter? Light from the Loam? I'm ahead of Murktide anyway. Okay, exile land, 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 Force of Will, land. Baragwayf has not changed size here. Kolagon's command, banger. All-time banger. Okay, we are in the spot where another white spell is very bad. And if they don't have another white spell, I'm in pretty good shape. Triumph of St. Catherine. That is not a white spell I was worried about. I am ahead of that one. Lightning Bolt. Wow, I could even double smash Triumph and then connect with Baragwayf. Like I could go K command, discard, Bolt. It's still back in the deck somewhere. Is connecting with Baragwayf better than that? I don't think I'm gonna sign up to ride that lightning. Yeah, you just block, gain some life. We both gain a bunch of life. Triumph goes back in there somewhere. I would prefer if it didn't show back up immediately. I could have clung it, I guess. That would have been the play. All right. Loosey-goosey, baby. Could I have clung it without shrinking Baragwayf? Because it did have 5 damage on it. They didn't immediately miracle it. I'll take that to the bank. Yeah, I have all the spells at this point. Another lightning. All right, Baragwayf, let's go. This is your job. This is your life. Yeah, binding only exiles opponent's creatures. Oh no! Why? There's just nothing. There's nothing to move around. Okay, yep. I can't do anything with that. And then I will soon die to Triumph of St. Catherine. It's in there somewhere. As long as they don't pause in their draw step, we're good. It's one of their next 5 cards. Murktide. I think I mostly did a good job keeping that small. Yeah. I could Kolagon's command plus Lightning Bolt to finish this thing off. That gets blown out by Force of Negation. Could exile my own graveyard to draw a card here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it would literally leave Cling to Dust in my graveyard to draw 1 card. It's probably worth it. All right, I have to make sure I don't exile the card I'm targeting. I'm targeting Ponder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we did it. Brainstorm now or on my turn? My turn. Ponder. Would I rather Ponder than Brainstorm? I think I would. Ponder. Double Kolagon's command. What does this do in the grand scheme of life? Okay, I will bank the other Kolagon's command on top of my deck. And then command, you discard, and then damage. And I can fetch a Badlands if we end up in a fight here. Hey, that's exactly that card I said. Okay, it would cost me the second Kolagon's command to win this fight. And 5 life. And I know that the thing I was trying to do with Kolagon's command is get them to 1 card in hand, or 0 cards in hand, so I could make them discard Triumph in response to its miracle trigger on whatever turn they draw it. Yeah, I guess I'm committed to this, though. Redirect Lightning. Redirect it to Redirect Lightning. Discard your last card. Force of Will. Get the Badlands, Lightning Bolt, and hope to fade the Triumph. They're on a 20% flip rate right now, or is it up to 25? I've honestly lost track. I think it's 25. All right, they didn't flip it. They have so many good cards in their deck, though. All right, it's my turn. Brainstorm, or Island is not a card I want. So I can safely cast Brainstorm now. Oh yeah. A lot of garbage. Fetch. Grab myself a basic Island. Cling to Dust. Target Force of Will. Leaving a couple nice cards in my graveyard. Children's Edict. All right. I've survived the next Triumph of St. Catherine. They're now 1 in 3 to flip it. Still haven't flipped it. I'm doing pretty good fading this thing. Thoughtseize. I do like that card, especially against control decks. I'm going to fire it now. Leyline Binding, Flooded Strand is their hand. Okay, so now if they flip, this is an Exile 5. Yes, okay. If they flip Triumph, I can Edict it. Edict will be in the graveyard with the Triumph trigger on the stack. Right, here's Brainstorm. So they can set up that thing now. I think I have 1 Surveil land, yeah, so this Polluted Delta's on Hangout job. Unfortunately, exiling a creature gains me life. It doesn't draw a card, and I'd really like to draw cards in a spot like this. There's the Flooded Strand. 1 mysterious card in their hand. Tamiyo. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I can play Tamiyo and then still do everything I need to do when this Triumph pops in. Okay, draw step. Oh my goodness. It's a miracle. Yeah, this is going to happen. And this is their draw for turn, so the information, what they have access to doesn't change. I can end step, make the play I want to make. Okay, Sheoldred's Edict. Each opponent sacrifices a non-token creature. That triggers. I fetch to put a 5th card in my graveyard. I'll get Basic Island. I'll exile all the cards from my graveyard to get Triumph out of the game. I gain 3 life, and now I have Tamiyo and 25 cards in my deck versus 16 life. Bowmaster. That's a closer. Okay, fetching before combat. What are we looking for? We're looking for white mana. This is the Panic Swords to Plowshares, and then Bowmaster cooks you. Alright, fair enough. And Tamiyo is a really good card. I don't blame you for that. Passing the turn, and it's Bowmaster versus the top of their deck. Please cast Brainstorm. Oh no! How big is this? 5/5? Yeah, I didn't want that. Alright, I guess I should play Bowmaster in case I draw Kaito. Just enable this however I can. We're just whipping spells around at this point. Lightning Bolt. Not quite what I'm looking for. It's 1 point short. I don't know that I would trade my Bowmaster for Murktide in this spot anyway. Like if it was 4/4, I'm not sure I would attack. And maybe I'm a coward baby for that, but I accept. I'm not winning the race, but I do have a deck full of bolts and removal. And the Brazen Borrower, literally the best card I could have. I attack with these things. If they do anything to interact with this, then they don't have interaction for me bouncing the Murktide. Okay, end step, anything, upkeep, Petty Theft. They could hardcast a Force here, that would be pretty good, but if their hand is a cantrip or a removal spell or anything like that, we just did it. Okay, we did it. Not won the game, but cleared the Murktide. Flip the race. Their next land can just cast 3/3 Murktides, but I do have Lightning Bolt ready. Swords to Plowshares, you got me, I accept. Not that I could do anything about it. Now their land, if they have a land in hand, they make a 4/4 Murktide. Orion, that's gross. All right, well, I'll cast my Brazen Borrower before they can Force of Will it. Those were really good 2 cards to have in hand. Clear the Bowmaster, then draw 3. Okay, I'm behind again. I'm winning on board, but I know I'm losing to their hand. And they're still cracking fetches. A green. What are we doing with a green? Tamiyo, gross. I think I have to bolt that thing. I have enough mana. I think I can bolt it on my turn if it comes to that, but I could draw and see what I hit first. Oh. Now I have a better plan. I'm going to attack with both my creatures. If they block Orc Army, I can Kolaghan's Command, make them discard, and deal 2 to Tamiyo. Then I get to keep Bolt in my hand. I also just have 5 points of burn here, but that's not quite enough. Deal 2, you discard 1. Have I mentioned that I love Kolaghan's Command? Like, I'm in love with it romantically. Discarded the Murktide. That's scary. So the last card in their hand is better than the Murktide Regent, which is the card that's defined the last 4 turns of this game. Up the Beanstalk. Yeah, that one's pretty good. It is a risk if they took that over Murktide, though. Like stabilizing the board versus maybe drawing out of it, but we only have 2 turns to draw out of it. Okay. I miss my Bowmaster. I miss it so bad. The next one will be really good, though. Oh, God. Bowmaster, why? And I'm not even close to escaping with Cling to Dust, so there's no action over there. Double Beanstalk's a big commitment, though. We've been through 2 Murktides and a Triumph already in their deck. Uro, disgusting. Alright, this game's going to be really hard to win. I was about to say, depending on what their win-con spread is, even with 26 cards in their deck, having double Beanstalk and a bunch of Bigos already gone, they might be in some trouble, but I don't think they're in trouble anymore. Can I suddenly get 3 cards in my graveyard? A Chain of Cantrips would do it. That's not going to do it. Alright, I think this one is falling away from me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, even if they kill Brazen Borrower, fetching won't put in enough cards to cling into my graveyard, so I'm just going to hold that in case I draw a Brainstorm. Losing to Uro in 2025. Nature is healing. Okay, Uro's in. If they have a Mystic Sanctuary in the deck, they did leave Lorien Revealed behind. Pretty good card to cast a second time in a game, especially now that you have 2 Beanstalks. A Ponder. Didn't shuffle. 22 cards left in the deck. I'm dead in 3 Uro hits. B-Storm. All right. That's why I held on to this fetch land. Please work. Ooh, Nimble Obstruction is Kaito. You don't say. You do not say. All right, Kaito is real money. I'm going to put back Delta, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is Force of Will any good? I could draw it next turn and just have it cast, but I think Obstructionist plus Kaito is the plan here. Okay. Brazen Borrower, attack. Please don't interact with my card before blocks. Okay, we're in blocks. Ninjutsu. Pretty serious game action here. Opponent's at 7. And I think what I want to do is stun Uro. I know I could try to Brazen Borrow it, but there's other stuff I could do with that. Okay. Man, I love Kaito. Milk. Man, I love Kaito. New acronym. If they Leyline Bind Kaito, I will Nimble Obstruct that. I will also Bolt Tamio if they cast a spell here that draws cards. All right, not that one. They do get to Legend Rule if they want to. Like if having, yeah, I think having the stunned one in play is still worth it. Okay. They go back to 10. Misty Rainforest is in play. That did not draw enough cards for me to be worried about it. I have this End-Step Brazen Borrower. Do I want to play with that? I don't think so. I'm going to go to my turn. I've drawn the Force of Will as planned. I think I have to plus Kaito because next turn I'm going to want to minus it and stun Uro again. Attack with my creatures. Am I worried about Tamio? I mean, obviously I'm worried about Tamio, but this is exactly the spot I was talking about in the deck tech of this Lightning Bolt might be worth a lot more being pointed at their head, and I got to be thinking about how I'm going to deal the 20 damage I need to deal, which is up to like 29 or whatever in this particular game because of all the Euros. A Triumph. Okay. I can counter this Miracle Trigger, and they could still just cast the Triumph. What happens then? I'm going to counter this Miracle Trigger. All right, put that shit in your hand. I don't want to see it. Okay, one of the cards in their hand is Triumph, which they can easily cast. I can Bolt Tamio, stun Triumph. Or no, I would have to Petty Theft Tamio. Tamio's going to flip right now. So what do? I'm attacking for 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, this is exactly lethal if nothing else happens. Yeah, I'm going to Bolt Tamio before these cards are drawn. Oh no, I can't plus and minus Kaito in the same turn. Shit, I did the math as if I could do both, which is obviously not how cards work. Force of Negation. If the Tamio emblem is in play, which it will be, then what? What if I Petty Theft Triumph? I guess I'm going to have to. All right, well, Tamio's going to flip. I'm going to Petty Theft Triumph. Or is Brazen Borrower better? Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That puts them to 1. Ugh. Yeah, I think I'm just going to be a little bit short in every direction here. If I bounce Triumph now successfully, then I can stun Uro. Triumph did go to the hand. Strix. Do I want a Strix? I mean, it could draw a burn spell or another Kaito. Ponder. We're still playing. Ponder. Lightning Bolt. And Orcish Bowmaster. Holy moly. I can get both of these cards into my hand. If Kaito attacks for 3, puts them to 3, I Surveil, or I could put this Brainstorm in my hand, Brainstorm into these 2 cards. Okay, that's probably the way to do it. Brainstorm, put back Force of Will, you're not helping, and I guess land. And now, actually, Orc Army does do damage. Play Bowmaster. 1 to you. I'm attacking for 3, 4, plus Kaito make it 5. Did we find lethal? Attack you for Xaxes. And I can buff again if I need to. Wow, what a game, Grixis. We love Grixis gaming. Merry GRIXMAS. And now time for game 2. 30 minutes into this recording. I like Thoughtseize. I like From the Catacombs. Pyroblast. Consign lines up against Leyline Binding, but not much else. I think I'm okay not bringing that in. Oppo Agent. They've got some fetch lands going on. That might be good enough. I'll think about it. Fling to Dust. They have Uro and Murktide and Triumph that all care about this. Redirect Lightning. That's pretty nice. JamesKisau has built this deck so well that I'm having trouble even thinking about it, because normally I would cut Fatal Pushes versus a deck like this, but the Fatal Pushes are in the sideboard, maxing out on Lightning Bolt in the main, because you're a glorified burn deck, which makes it harder to sideboard. Baleful Strix is probably mediocre. Nimble Obstructionist had a hero moment. That doesn't mean it's good, but it did have a good moment. Narset's excellent versus Beans. I don't think I want all my Force of Wills, but I want some. Enough to have a showdown if I need to have a showdown, but not so many that I'm flooded with them into for winning myself all the time. I probably could shave a Lightning Bolt. Maybe even 2. Do I think the first Strix is better than the third Bolt? Maybe. It is a cantrip that turns on Kaito, who is my best card in the matchup. Oh, Price of Progress should be in 2. Oh, alright. Well, I need that one. Okay, Strix, you're back in. What do I cut for this Price of Progress? That's the cheese ball I'm looking for. Do I need both Redirect Lightnings? Do I need both Clings? I think I can trust in one of the Clings to show up over a very long game. I'm not playing against Oops All Spells, where I need it early and often. I'm playing against Control, where I just need one at some point. But we saw Cling to Dust draw like 4 cards that game and then get rid of Triumph. That was a lot of work. Keep. I got lands and spells. And I even ended game 1 up 1 minute on the clock, or half a minute on the clock. We're ahead on every metric. Please don't Carpet of Flowers. Shit. Oh, that card's going to be tough to beat. All right, well, I still have to play this Undercity Sewers because this is what my hand does. Kaito, I will keep that. I really wanted another land, but I'm not going to say no to Kaito, especially when I have the Strix to curve into it. This is exactly the play pattern I called out when we were sideboarding, and I was thinking about whether I want any Strixes or not. All right, opponent did not use their Carpet of Flowers. The 2 ways to reasonably compete with a Carpet of Flowers as a blue deck is counter it, kill them before it does anything, or beat all of the cards that they might cast with the mana, and then they just float mana and pass every time. All right, this would be a great turn to draw my 3rd land and get Kaito going in the face of this carpet. But if I have to spend some time pondering into it, I accept. Or if they have to kill my Baleful Strix and give me a 2-for-1, I also accept that. I'm going to be hyper vigilant of my stops and clicks and yields here. Like I've already yielded to the Carpet of Flowers. That's going to eat up a lot of clock, which I hate that is part of the game that we're playing because this match is so sweet, but it is. Leyline Binding can have a Baleful Strix. I'm not spending a precious Force of Will on that. If I had the 3rd land rolled up, I'd think about it, but I don't. All right, Ponder. Cool. Bunch of lands locked up here. Don't shuffle. Play the Delta. I'm just going to pass. I'm not going to be super aggressive into the Carpet of Flowers. I know my next land drop is on top of my deck. We can figure it out. I can fetch bad lands if I need to redirect some lightning here. Up the Beanstalk. Yeah, this is the card I didn't want to play against. All right, this one I will fight over. Force pitching. I think it's got to be Nimble Obstructionist. Sorry, buddy. They've got Veil of Summer. I guess I'm dead. If they have Force of Will, I can redirect that lightning. Fetch bad lands to do that. Keep that carpet from getting any tastier. Right, redirecting lightning. I guess I could have moved their Force to their Bean. Didn't occur to me. I just moved it to my lightning. Yeah, it's probably way better to put it on their Bean. Oh, here I am with the perfect mana base. Perfect mana base doesn't exist. All right, Ponder. Yuck. Shuffle, because those things aren't lands or threats, but that is a big threat. It's the best threat in my deck, and it enables Kaito. And it doesn't require blue mana to do what it's going to do. The second carpet, there we go. Second main, other carpet triggers. No mana used. I'm leaning in here. Bowmaster is just in. No arguments from the opponent. Not yet, anyway. Oh, do I want to play this land? Not really. Do I want Kaito or Narset in play? I They have so much mana. I'm already punishing draws. Okay, I'm just going to attack. I guess if I play the Underground Sea, that gives me the option of bolting Ophelia or something that might jump out here. I am going to Surveil this time. Ponder Edict. I'm going to go top. And I will play out my land and cast Ponder. Force of Will, you'll love to see it. Don't shuffle. Okay. We're starting to turn the screws here. They're going to have a gajillion mana. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. But they haven't actually been spending their mana on most of the turns of this game. I floated the Edict on top so I don't have to force a Triumph. All right, I will force a Leyline Binding, though. Kaito is my guy. This is what we're here for. Ponder, it's game time. Bowmaster, chew them up. They're desperate. Wow, and they just conceded? Ponder gets to shuffle. All right, cool. That was an awesome match of Magic. A 4-1 record, losing only to Oops All Spells. Sad. But that's okay. We had really good matches against strong players throughout this league. This deck is always such a delight. Redirect Lightning felt kind of like the truth. I don't think just any deck with red mana would adopt this, but decks that are soft to Wasteland, for example, moving the Wasteland from your land to their land being a thing that you can do is pretty messed up. 5 life is a pretty big cost to pay versus a deck like Izzet Delver, but if you're moving their Lightning Bolt onto their Dragon's Rage Channeler, it's probably worth it. I'm going to be forever just absolutely beside myself that we didn't get to redirect that Balustrade Spy round 1 when I top decked the Redirect Lightning after my opponent dressed me. Truly tragic, but it's cool that the potential's there. You could also even, and depending on their deck construction and if they have Cabal Therapies and stuff, you could redirect their Dread Return to like Narcomoeba or something. That would also do it. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and just name spells and abilities for the next hour and a half, which is what's going on in my brain. I'm just thinking about all the spells and abilities that target in the format. This deck's a masterpiece. It's always changing. James Kisau does have a YouTube channel if you want to go check that out, if you see the master at work. As for me, picking up and playing a deck like this once in a while is, in fact, a special treat, a gift, if you will. And with that, Merry GRIXMAS, everyone. Thank you, Heinz, for letting me play the deck. Thank you, James Kisau, for putting it out into the world. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon to support the channel during these holiday season, and I'll see you next time.